Yes, more.
Yes, more, yes, sir.
So what happens if you do a rant, rave, repeat with only 2 people?
It's happened before.
Really? So you go rant, rave. Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
No, rant, rave, repeat, and then it's rant, rave, repeat. I thought you meant like just recording wise. I'm like, I've done many podcasts. I did a podcast alone last month. I'm not sure if you know.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it's over 200 listens, and just myself. Some of the top 5. 200. Look at that. Rant,
Rave,
repeat.
rant,
rave.
Repeat.
Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Travis Snail.
I'm Captain Rigby, Eleanor Rigby.
Dylan Musk. And then the debuting on Rant, Rave, Repeat.
I'm Taylor Field.
Yeah, so literally, we're sitting here, we're waiting for another cast member, and we're like, hey, we gotta kill some time. Let's do some ran, let's do some repeating.
And let's rave it up.
Let's rave it up.
Don't forget to rave it up, my friend.
I'm gonna start because I saw my list. I'm like, man, I really want to talk about it. Public washrooms.
Oh, I used one this morning.
Why are they so gross? And maybe you can attest, because did you go into a nice one?
It was actually pretty nice. It was at a park, and there's a baseball diamond there, and it was surprisingly nice. It was very small and cramped, but it was cleanly. There was 2 rolls of toilet paper, so that you're never going to run out. And then there was a sink. So, I mean, I don't know. It was actually... I was just thinking that this morning. I was like, wow, this is surprisingly nice. I am content to use this restroom.
Because let me give you, like, the general rundown.
Yeah.
You got...
And this was in Rutland, too. So, of all places,
and people that don't know where we live, Rutland is, like, the area kind of shady,
it's
crappy.
the slums of Kelowna.
Exactly. Slums of Kelowna. What? But... So, let's lay down the scene. Most time you walk in a public washroom, water everywhere on the ground. First of all, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Is that pee? Is that people stuffing up toilets?
I don't, well, I mean, there's a variety of things it could be. It depends on, first of all, the sink. So let's talk about this restroom I was using today. The sink...
But you're talking about a nice one. I'm talking about the gross ones.
But you wouldn't think it would be nice. It was surprising, okay?
So was the door not that colorful?
Like
whenever I see a
rusted
door...
It was like a nice Rutland green, I would say.
Oh, okay. A nice Rutland. Like garbage can green?
Kind of like old slide, like tube slides, you know what I'm talking about? You know, like they used to have on playgrounds, like the...
Kind of. I don't remember a green
like they're kind of like pipes, you know? Like,
okay.
You know, kind of like out of Super Mario or something.
So that was the door.
Anyway, yeah, the door is not important to the water, though. That's what we're talking about right now. But the sink, right? So the sink, you had to, like, turn it and hold it to use it. So it's, like, kind of annoying, but it's like, you know what? This way someone doesn't just hold it on and just, like, flood the place and whatnot.
That's good. Because maybe that...
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, because there's people who... There's people who, like, specifically go into washrooms, and this could be even at, like, a nice restaurant, and they'll just, like, poop on the floor.
Just the fuck
or, like, on the wall. Like, I don't know how you poop on the wall, but they do it anyway. And that's just, like, how some people, like,
I feel
have
like they
fun,
throw
right?
it. Like...
Yeah. No,
I feel like...
you'd be... I saw this guy one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm trying to think of, because where I work, one time I remember I went to walk in to use washroom. Where I work is a hotel, I landscape there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really nice hotels, you gotta keep that up. But I walk in and just like, horrid smell. And like, of course, you know, like, okay, probably someone did number 2. But then you look, someone took a crap in the urinal.
Yeah.
So like, that is one of the most, Taylor's face, one of the most ultimate... Like,
Taylor's face is like, I've done that before.
Yeah, it's one of the most ultimate disrespects because you can't get rid of it and everything like that, and it's just like, it smells because obviously there's no underneath the water, so it's like, so you got the wet floors. One, obviously this goes to your point of like people vandalizing it,
yeah,
but it's like the classic wet paper towel and balls thrown up against walls or roofs.
Yeah,
and it's like, or roughs if you're from America, but like. I guess that could just be kids, but it happens enough that you're like, why does this always happen? You know, or they're just on the ground, and it's like, I feel like people just, like, enough mess builds up in public washrooms.
It's kind of, well, I mean, there's people who just have, like, a disregard for other human life, you know? It's like those people who think that just because you work at, like, a fast food place that you deserve to be treated like shit, and they'll just, like, be mean to you and stuff. And it's like, I think it's those kind of people who are the ones who are like, yeah, I'm gonna shit on the wall because someone's gonna have to clean it up, and that's funny.
Taylor, did you ever go into the Dutch and shit on their walls?
No, I didn't. No.
Is that actually why you got banned?
Yeah, Taylor, tell us, you haven't said anything. What have been your experiences with public washrooms?
Well, you know, I had to work in a movie theater, and you know, that popcorn people eat. I had to.
Oh God! You didn't
That's a mental image I didn't want.
off the scene. That popcorn people eat.
I was working in the concession one shift, and the manager comes up and she's like, "Taylor, I'm gonna need your help with something." I'm like, "Oh no, I need you to go to the back bathroom at the back of the theater."
Oh no.
Like, oh, the back bathroom. Went all the way back there.
So,
Sure enough, that
Ogres.
toilet. It was like the Spartan Wolf from the 300 movie. There was nothing getting through that.
Wow. Well, that's a question upon itself. I've never understood when you walk in and there's a toilet that's like the toilet paper is like piled up. You'd think
Yeah.
if to yourself you're like, hey, it's starting to pile up. Maybe I'm gonna give it a nice courtesy flush.
You would
And then
think.
if you have to go back, like let's say the person has diarrhea. We've all been there, but like if you use like let's say an amount where you're starting to get worried, that's when you're like, okay, just gonna flush it. If it's cold in your butt, stand up for a second, you flush it, you go back down. But it's like I've never had the mentality to leave it there. And this is like a side thing I'll also say. Isn't it the worst when there's a bunch of people, like, no, actually, you can know people are coming behind you and you're going to the washroom. No, that's wrong.
what are you getting at here?
Okay.
I'm a little confused.
Have you ever had the point of where you go to, let's say you're alone in the washroom, you go into a stall, you look, oh, it's plugged, you know, and then you do your business somewhere else, and then you come out, but you see someone passing you and going to that stall, and you know that they think that you probably did that, and that sucks, because you're like, I didn't do that, but I've had, like, and I've never gotten a look or anything, it's just that thing of, like, I jumped to that conclusion too. Like the last person you see leaving that stall or around that stall, and you go look in there, it's like this big thing, and it's like that's what I was going to do. I hate when that happens. But
I guess a similar thing to that is like when you go in and there's like, say there's two stalls because it's easy, and the first one is just rancid, and you're like, I'm not using that.
the popcorn
So you,
people.
yeah, the popcorn people.
That's the
So you go to the other one,
title of this
and then someone
rant.
else comes in, and it's kind of like that. It's like you can tell they go in there and they're like, there's like that moment where you realize that they know that you're not going to use it either, but there's like not another stall, so they either have to wait around or just go somewhere.
Have you ever done the thing where you're an idiot, where you see the person not use that stall, and then you still go to check to see if that stall's good, and you're like, why? Like they didn't use it for some clear reason.
Yeah,
I guess
true.
to put this thing on a close is, as far as like a bet, I'd say like 1 to 10 public washrooms are bad. And it's all fear. I feel like many of us, including all three of us, have held our washroom situations just not to use a public washroom.
Mhm.
Like, no, I'm going to use one
Oh,
at
yeah.
home. So if you had to bet $50 over and under, give me a number, a percentage of you walking into just like any public washroom. If you want to pick a location, sure. But like, just
Well-
so you're blindfolded, they take the blindfold off and there's a public washroom in front of you. And they say, hey, sir, hey, Taylor, hey, Dylan, we don't know if that's dirty or clean there. You bet a percentage, and if it's like close, like Price is Right, like as long as you're not over, like I said, the over under, like what's the percentage you're going with that it's clean? Because I would literally go with 10%, maybe 5, depends on my past experiences. Because I can't remember the last time I went to a nice one, but
Well-
I'd say 10.
Well, let's quickly chart out like a definition here. Okay.
Water on the floor, clogged toilet, and then the
I'm
gross
gonna be honest
water
with you.
paper towel balls.
I'm gonna be honest
I
with
think
you. The
those
water
two-
on the floor thing, I don't think I see that too often.
Oh, I see that a lot. Like not beach ones, but like people come out with water, but still like beach. I've seen that at like malls,
Mhm.
like a lot of American malls I've been to. So that's what I'd say. Clarify, like the dirty water towel balls, water on the floor, and one clogged toilet. That's the dirty one. Or like shit somewhere, whether it's like urinal or the wall.
Maybe I haven't used as many American.
You think that's it? I have been to 10
It sound-
WrestleManias
because
and
I don't
all
think
of them been in
I
America.
would not initially think 10%.
Okay,
I would say like at least 30,
and this guy's.
but
clean.
I could go up to like 43%.
Wow. Taylor, what do you feel on this? You
I'd
get this
say-
percentage wrong, you get shot.
I'd say like 20% are clean, the rest are all dirty. I mean, I still don't feel comfortable like
No.
going out and sitting down on some other toilet. And I mean, even if it is clean, you're still sitting there and you're thinking there's probably like 5 or 10 or 40 other like sick, disgusting people have sat down on here.
Well, it's a worse.
Oh, I'm thinking in the thousands.
Yeah. It's worse when you walk in there and you've seen no one, you sit on a toilet and it's warm and you're like, oh, someone wishes
Oh.
here.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that's why at all my jobs I will, and I guess this is going to be like a mini rant or rave, I don't know, I'm raving about closed washrooms. This is the thing that I always get mad that most places, all places I've worked, have not had a public or private washrooms for employees. You got to use the same one. So for two reasons why I always use, and I'm sorry if someone's listening to that handicap, you'll know, and I feel like you'll understand where I'm coming from. Let me finish the story. I'll always use the handicap washroom. Now I have luckily never had to come out and someone in the handicap washroom wait. I'm not talking about the handicap stall. There's a washroom where the door locks. One of my friends, when I worked at a retail, that happened. He was in the washroom, he came out, and the guy was sitting there, and he was in a wheelchair, he was impaired man, and he was just like, yeah, nice. And it was like, he's like, he never did it again. But luckily that never happened. I'd always pick my spots, but all my jobs always use that one.
You scout out the store first to see if there's any people in wheelchairs?
No, but just like I got a sense of if it's busy, like no, not time to use it, or not time to use that one. But like, if it's
they
dead,
changed it though. They don't really call them like
family washrooms.
They call them family washrooms. Yeah,
and they still like the handicap sign there. But
if you're just one dude in your 20s, you're not. That's not a family.
No,
by definition.
but they have the lock on there. So the two reasons I use them is one, because of that I find those are much more clean. Taylor, what are you doing?
Sorry, there's something flying.
There's swatting at something.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah. So it's one for the cleanliness, and two is also because I've always hated that with other job I'm at that you have to use the same washroom as people that might be shopping there, especially in retail. So it's like you're all in your uniform, and they're using it. And I feel like there's just this always like weird level. So
it's definitely like there's just a slight awkwardness when you're in the washroom and you're like using the sink and you're like an employee, and then there's this person right next to you who's like not. And they because they're feeling like, why are you in here? You should have your own washroom too, right? It's kind of like a two-way street.
Because then they might be thinking, hey, they have their own washroom, so why are they using this one? Like, do they have some weird fetish? Like, that's what I was gonna say. The companies out there,
I don't know if I would jump to that conclusion.
I never know. Give employees retail, like I'm saying in the hotel. I don't even get the private one. I have this one where it's like there's this washroom where it's like the main lobby, but then there's a nice. There's no locks, but it's a nice separate private one for all the people in their meetings and whatnot. But I always use that one because one, it's like off the corner where no one knows about, and two, that one's taken care of so nicely compared to the other one. And it's not dirty, but
I got a question for you then.
Yes.
So let's say you had like some brutal enchiladas, or you had some.
You always gotta lay out the scene. It can't just be like, oh, your stomach's upset.
It's good to lay out the scene.
Brutal enchiladas after
with some popcorn.
Yeah, that or bean burrito, whatever you have.
all three.
You've had all three in one sitting. You go into that washroom, you do your business, but you leave it all clean. You flush, it's not clogged or anything. But then you leave, and as you leave, someone else is going in there to use that same washroom. It's a family washroom. It's closed. They're going in there to use it. Would you feel bad that it smells like biological warfare in there?
And you said it's a family?
It's a family washroom.
Yeah.
So the mom's going in there with the little.
Yeah, no, I feel bad for
the kid passes out instantly.
Because I've seen other people. I've seen other people like myself, or even people that don't work there. They'll use the family one. Those people I don't feel bad for, but I feel bad for families and handicapped, like impaired people that the washroom's actually for, because it's like, I hit you with this crime that you did not deserve. Like it's unjust. Where the person that's like myself, it's like, oh, you got to deal with it. You're making this gamble as me. You're using the family washroom.
Would you warn them as you?
No, I'm not going to be like, hey, I just took a huge like
enchilada popcorn.
Yeah, warfare in
biological.
Like unless I know the person in front of them, I say, hey, you might not want to go in there. But like, I'm not going to randomly say that to a person. Like, because to me, like. You might say that, but what if that person gets a little worried? What if they think you're like a serial killer and you kill the person in there? So I'm just trying to deter them, like, oh yeah, don't go in there. But really, there's a dead body. See, that's the place my mind goes to sometimes.
Well, you just got to use that line from that Jim Carrey movie, maybe Ace Ventura.
Woo!
Do not go in there, right? You just got to hit him with that one, and then hopefully they've seen that movie. If not, you just sound like a total fucking weirdo.
Still breaks the ice, though.
Exactly. Then you hand your number,
Okay, I have one more.
Lifelong marriage right there.
I have one more rant before we move on to your guys if you have topics. So, Facebook friend requests.
Okay.
What are the rules?
I got one today, actually.
/ guidelines to this. And I have two examples. So, here are my two examples. One, former
you
boss.
You had some enchiladas. For me.
Yeah, I had some enchilada popcorn. With bean burritos.
Former boss.
So, former boss. Months late, and wasn't even that close with him. Wasn't even that close. The boss. I think I sent it to the group chat. We worked on. If you listen, hey, Sorry, but like this is okay. I'll lay out my mindset. And you guys can lay this too about how you accept a friend request. I only accept friend requests of people legitimately. This sounds bad. That I want to know what's going on in their life. So that's why I don't even think I have 100 friends on there. And there's even some people like from school that I'm not even that close with anymore. But it's just like, hey, to see. We're this boss guy. He was my boss. And we didn't have that close connection. Didn't hate the guy. Like didn't like the guy. Just like I didn't think anything. Just like okay.
Indifference.
Yeah, indifferent. Yeah, I work with him. Cool enough guy, nice enough guy, no problems with him, and that, to me, if I have no problems with you, we're good. But, like, not enough where I mean, like, I need to know what's going on in this guy's life. You know, I need to know where he is, what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. So this person sends me a friend request, but I'd say 6 months, 6 months after I've been working there. Completely random. We kind of figured out why, because there was a big group event none of us were going to, and he was sending us, friend requests to try and get us to go.
Yeah.
But still, so there was that. So part of my question is, how long are you allowed to wait till you send a friend request so you know a person? And then the follow-up is, do you feel like you have to have physically met the person? Because I'm not going to say it, but I had a friend request from someone that had a mutual friend of you and Kirkland, who I had never, ever met once. Not at a party, not at this, not at that.
Tell me who this is after.
I deleted it, so I don't know if I remember the name. I'll have to look. Didn't even know the person. Hadn't even met the person, but they send me a friend request. And maybe it's like, oh, they maybe watched us on GeekVerse or listen. It's like, that's cool, but I don't know you enough to like accept it. So my thing is, I pose questions to you is, because I laid out, what are the guidelines as far as how long you can send a request, how they have to know you, and what are your, like, qualification of, like, I'm going to add that person? Because some people add anybody, just like, add. I'm not that person.
I would say mine's slightly different from you in the fact that, like, I obviously play a lot of Smash, and there's, like, that's pretty much our main means of communication is just, like, through Facebook. So I have a lot of people through there who, like, yeah, they're my friends, but it's kind of like a different thing where we really just hang out to play Smash. So, like, I definitely have, like, a lot of people from that, and that's kind of, like, a separate category almost.
Because that's
where, like, I don't
Twitter
really know these people on, like, a personal level.
Yeah.
And, like,
I follow, like, over 600 people on Twitter, but that's my thing. But Facebook, for me, that's where I leave it to the personal.
So that's kind of, like, my one exception, but other than that, it's someone usually that, I talked to or we hung out or something and then, at each other.
Now, here we go. To answer my first question, you said talk to, hung out. How long would you have to, let's say you haven't seen that person in a while, how long do you have to send that person a friend request? Do you feel like, my case was 6 months, way too long. Maybe the first little bit after meeting the person I would know, but I hadn't seen that person in 6 months.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
Well, I think in that case, that's like, not necessarily the friendship, that was like a employee-employer kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, like, yeah, I mean, I know exactly who you're talking about. I didn't accept it because it's like, what? This is so random. After a few, months of not talking to you.
I felt like the statute of limitations of like when you're able to send a friend request is up. Like it's gone.
That was breaching the contract.
Yeah, exactly. And then my second rule is if it's not a Smash person, if it's someone like. Well, I guess you kind of answer that with the not knowing the person. My particular thing was, like I said, it was weird. The person knew you two, but I had never met them, so I thought it was kind of strange.
No, that is definitely. I'm really curious who this is now. So
while you guys are talking, I'll try and find the picture. Taylor, do you have? Well, Dylan, what are your qualifications of how long can someone send your friend request? Do you have to know the person? And then what is your basis of you accepting someone as a friend on Facebook?
I prefer that I've at least said hello to them in some way, either
in person
online,
or online,
either online or in person. There's no really time limit for me when they send a friend request. Like if they send a friend request to me, I'll stalk them and be like, "Oh, do I know this person? Do I know anyone related to you?"
Tell me after the cast.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor.
So I don't really have a time limit on it. Okay. Depending who you are. What your status is, if I'm at work and you are my boss or whatever, and if I don't have a
rapport,
if there's no friendship there, if I go to work and you happen to be at work as well because you're working, I will say hello to you not because I have to, but because...
You kind of have to. You can't just be like...
You don't want to be rude.
Yeah,
I don't want to be rude.
You gotta be a decent human.
I'll be decent, I'll greet them and stuff like that, but that's the extent.
Yeah.
Unless they come to me and be like, "Taylor, I love Assassin's Creed. Let's go do a Assassin's Creed GeekVerse cast together." So you know what? I am down. I'll add you on Facebook.
Don't have him on Geek's Creed. To me,
that's not where Ruben's from, by the way.
No. Ruben is not my boss.
Our boss. I'll even give a little credit. I usually won't, but even if I had met someone recently, and even the night after or the day after, it's like, hey, I kind of just met this person, but if they want a friend request, sure, I'm more opposed to. But it's even then, we hung out maybe in a group situation and we really hit it off, something like that. But it's like that's who you hang out with. It's your friend's birthday, and you go to this friend's birthday, and there's somebody at that party, and they're across from you, and you talk to them a couple times, but you don't feel like if you don't feel like you can remember their name, and they send you a friend request, that's where it's like, why are you sending me a request? And that's where I think those are the people that are like, they want to have as many friends as possible, you know. And I've never understood that. Like, if we got money, I'd understood that, but we don't. It's like I don't know. Someone can be proud of that, but then I can go find you people like my sister's age, which is 16, that has like 10,000 more likes or followers than you do. So it's like I don't know, like it takes me a lot to like gain trust as a person, but just Facebook, like, because that person's gonna be posting all the time. And there's a few people, I'm not gonna call them out. I have them because they are friends, but I have them muted for sure if they weren't family or they had close to.
I don't think I've really like removed many people. Like,
I removed a few.
My Facebook is like filled with people from like high school and stuff that I haven't talked to since high school, right? But I don't really remove people.
The people that I muted were not because they were like I didn't like them. It's just their Facebook lives are too annoying. Where it's not, it's spam, or it's just stuff where it's just like, I don't care about this at all. Like, it's way too much, you know? Like, hey, I don't think I'm that guilty. When I got Heisenberg, I posted a lot of pictures, but then now, maybe a picture every once, maybe every two. And you know, when a person first has a kid, I don't think they're going to be listening to this. If they do, you know who you are. I'm sorry. When you first have a kid, you got it. You go ahead. Yeah. Once 6 months is up, I don't need to see a picture of the kid every day. And it's great. You can do that, but no, I'm going to mute you. So when you're like, hey, you see me post this on Facebook? Say, oh, I must have missed it. That's me lying. Because people, it's the same thing of like, oh, my phone was there, this and that. Those excuses are gone now, or I didn't have my phone. Well, except for Taylor, for some reason. But like, that's a different Rant Rave Repeat episode. But like, the whole thing of like, oh yeah, I missed your thing on Facebook. Yes, sometimes you can on time, but most of the time, that's because they have a certain list of people they follow, or they don't care. And that's the same thing with me. Like, I have 3 people muted, and not because I don't like them. And then there's a couple people I've unfriended, but not even because there's been a clash or anything like that. Just because it's like, I think it's that thing of like that what I talked about. You friend them after knowing them for like a week, and then you're like, I never hung out with this person again. So it's like, okay, I'll get rid of it, you know. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of people like that, and it's usually like if I get things like friends of friends, I usually don't add them unless I never add them unless I've actually like met them like at least once or something. And it's like, you know, I'm not gonna be mean and like ignore it, right?
Yeah, like
decline it, right?
Yeah, like for that point, like I just added Liam like a year ago, and because it was the thing of like we hung out a lot of times and we were friends through Kyle, but we never like hung out separately or anything like that. And that's the same thing. Like when they're friends or friends, I usually wait till we've hung out a bunch or we've hung out separately because you're like, okay, now I consider them a friend. But friends of a friend, that's where it's like, especially when it comes really quick. That's the thing of like, if it's too long, it's weird, and when it's too quick, it's weird. There's a great grace period.
Usually I find actually that there's like if I'm adding someone who I've become friends with, usually there's like a point in time where it's necessary. It's like, oh, I wanted to link you something or something like that. Then it's like, oh, I'll add you on Facebook.
Yeah, when you don't have you on Facebook. I thought of the person, and exactly like
there's like the classic, oh, I don't have you on Facebook yet. Like, you know.
Yeah,
and you can just take a deep breath, like, oh, there we go, it's over and done with.
Or it's like the thing of like, oh, I put this on my Facebook, and then they're like, oh, like you should link me to it, and like, oh, totally, and then they link it because you gotta make the friend, and that's what happens. So. Yeah, that was.
That's where friendships are born.
Yeah, that topic was been brewing for a while. It's funny that you guys have just because it happened
brewing like
an
enchilada popcorn.
Oh yeah,
burrito.
Taylor, you said you had something to rant or rave about. What is?
I did, and I was thinking, and I kind of had another one too.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like,
double take.
Go ahead.
Double, yeah.
I still got nothing over here.
He'll do this too. If not, we'll go home because that's rant, rave, repeat. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
You just do nothing.
Well, I was gonna bring up kids that come into like your store and they're just not doing okay. They're having a bad day, and
what are you doing okay?
Tell me what you mean by that. Like, are they, just came from the hospital, like they have cancer or something, or do you mean
you said not doing
or do you mean like they're having like a tantrum?
They're not doing okay in the sense that they want to make sure you're not doing okay.
So they're brats. They're being brats.
They're being brats. Whether it's either your boss's kid or it's just customers coming into the store.
What are some of these things that these brat children are doing? Are they like throwing stuff on the ground that you have to pick up? Give me some examples.
Well, let's say you're walking down an aisle trying to do something and they are holding on your leg and they're being dragged as you're trying to walk.
You?
It could be anyone. I'm not saying me.
Has that happened to you?
It has.
Wow, yeah, that's a bit too much.
That has never happened to me.
I would.
Are you sure that it's not your child?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Dad!
I know that.
Dad! Get away!
See, I've mentioned this to other people, and I've gotten advice like, well, you should get tape and tape them to a wall or something like that.
Okay, first of all, that's terrible advice.
That's like troll advice, right?
Yeah. Which, before we go on this topic, I have a side story when you're talking about the dad thing. All the time I can't remember where I picked up, but we had walkie-talkies at Best Buy where I used to work, and there'd be like, oh, can I speak to the manager? And I'd be like, oh yeah, give me a second. And I'd call with the walkie, I'd be like, oh, so-and-so, this person wants to talk to you at front. And then I'd stop talking and let like dead air for a second. I'd be like, yeah, they say they're your daughter, and they've been looking for you, and like, got a good laugh once, and then I did it all the time. Didn't get any laughs, but I laughed all the time. I just on the side story of that. But yeah, that's about who was the kid, the boss's kid or employee's kid?
Probably the boss's kid.
Okay, that's why it's an awkward situation, because you can't say anything. But if it was like, it was a customer's kid, I would say, hey, like, this is not called for. You know, like, I couldn't do that to them.
I'm going to tape this little brat to the wall, yeah.
I think for you, you're just luck, really. I don't think there's much you can do.
I think the problem is, like, first of all, that's kind of a shocking situation, right? But you have to handle it correctly the first time, or else it'll happen again and again and again.
But what if they say that you will get in trouble. You will get in trouble because my mother or father is the boss of you, and you have to do what I say.
Wait a second. Have they said this, or are you just saying this is like an evil like child?
You can't give the kid the power. You have to show them.
But hang on, has this actually been said to you?
Let's say,
is this like a 16-year-old?
Real talk.
No, let's say it's a kid, maybe grade 2 or 3, and they come to you and say, "Give me a box, otherwise you'll get in trouble."
Has this been said to you?
It quite possibly could have been said to me.
But like, I don't understand. Like, first of all, you said grade 3 or grade 2? First of all, why are they making these threats at such a young age?
I don't know, but they are well aware that their parent is the head boss of this entire store.
Does their parent know that they're doing these things?
Their parent knows that they do act out, but they don't know that they're doing these things. And
I would mention it in casual conversation, like, oh, hey, Tommy came and picked up a box the other day and said this.
You threatened me.
I wouldn't say threaten you. I would just say, like, oh, he said this. That's
you don't want to make it sound hostile. You want to kind of be friendly, I guess.
Because if it's hostile, they'll pick the kid over you. But you want to be like,
how would you make it friendly, though?
Your son stopped by the other day and he needed these boxes. Why do you need these boxes? Just say, like, oh, and then you could get the story and blah, 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 and then you could just, like...
Yeah, your kid was holding on my leg. It was... I don't know.
Do a temperature check. If they're like, oh yeah, they got a box for this, and they walk away, you're kind of like, okay, well, I might not get anywhere, I might have to deal with it. But they're like, oh, why they need boxes? Or something like that. Then you could bring up like, oh, they need it for this, and they said because like you were the boss, I had to give them to you, and you could just be like, I just want to make sure. That's the best way you can do it. It's like, you just want to make sure that you're allowed to do it. They might just be like, oh yeah, and then you're screwed. But they could be like, oh, they could be like, yeah, you're allowed to do that, and then I talk to my son or my daughter or whatever it is. Like, I think you have to bring it.
What if the kid went to another manager and told that manager that they have to go make him food of some sort?
Has this happened to you?
I was the manager. Theoreticals that have all happened.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's not your problem, so you don't have to worry about it. Unless that manager comes on this podcast.
He's dragging on possibly my leg throughout the store. Maybe at my store.
That is just unprofessional.
But that to me is an easy one. The boss one's lesson with an easy one, just like, hey, like go to the boss and be like, hey, I've just been trying to work and the kid does this and I can't focus and get my work done. Like, the boss should want you to get your work done as quick and efficiently as possible. If there's a kid wrapped around your leg, I think that's a clear, like, okay, no, and then they'd have a talk. So I think that one's fine. The box one, you gotta be a bit more, because that could be a petty thing. But the leg thing, you just be like, hey, I'm just trying to work, and then they're doing this, like, do you think you could talk to him? And in a nice way, just say, oh, you think you had to have a conversation with them? And if nothing happens, they still try it. Anytime you see the kid, you just, like, run or go the other way.
Run.
You just avoid them.
Now,
or you start sticking, like, bad pheromones on. Like, that's what you should do. You should get, like, oh, this is what we have for Heisenberg, my dog. It doesn't work at all, but it would work on this kid. Is like, he used to chew the furniture, and we had this, like, sour apple spray, and we'd spray it on the furniture.
Spray him? Or
spray it on your stuff, so then, when he grabs on you, and then later on when he's, like, when he, like, eats something or something, it's not poisonous, it just gives you a sour taste.
Find the popcorn enchilada flavor.
Yeah, because I got some of the sour apple accidentally. I was like, God, this was awful, and it stuck with me for hours. I had to have, like, showers washed off, and it wouldn't go away. That's what you do, because they'll never do it again. And is someone going to believe, is a boss going to believe it could be, first of all, the kid wouldn't know what it was, and second of all, they're not going to believe you doused yourself.
I actually have another good idea. Alright, so what you do here, and this one would actually work wonders. So the kid's on your leg, right? And you pretend like he, like, knocked you over or something like that, like, actually knocked you over. So you fall on the ground and pretend like you have a serious injury. And then your boss obviously is going to want to cover that up. So he's going to compensate you some sweet cash. And so this alleviates your problem because obviously the boss is not going to let that happen again. He has now hurt one of your workers. Probably going to never let the kids in the store again. And you get some sweet dough out of it too.
That's actually a really good
But
idea.
you have to make sure that you like fall onto a shelf and like hit your head a little bit and like maybe concuss like a little bit.
Concuss a little bit.
And that way, it's serious.
But what if the kid doesn't let up? What if he takes this opportunity? He's got you down. That's why he's dragging you by the leg.
I think there's a good chance he's not. I think there's a good chance he's not going to murder you.
Yeah, and I think at that point.
But if you do die from that, I am so sorry that you took my.
I think at that point you have enough ammo to talk to the boss and be like, "Hey, this is getting a little ridiculous now." And yeah, I feel like it's an easy thing. I feel like you just don't want to have the conversation, but I feel like it should.
It's a very
be
awkward conversation with your boss.
How well do you know the boss?
Well, then again, it's not. I haven't put him on Facebook, even though I have received that request because I'm not going to. And
you should accept. You should accept it because this would be a much easier conversation.
Online, that would be a lot.
No, not online.
Then the kid's gonna see a mutual friend. He's gonna add you, and then you're gonna have to hang out with him and. Might play magic and he'll eat your cards and not a good time.
See, in response to what you said, how I gotta stand my ground, I've done, maybe me, it could be someone else, has done that, and they say, don't treat me like I'm a baby! And you think, oh shit. This kid's intense.
At that point, you know what you say? Well, you're acting like a baby, so I'm going to treat you
But I'm not
like
the
one.
parent. I can't do
You
that.
can do whatever you want. You are a man.
Yeah, or you go talk
adult.
to the parent. I think it's really easy. You just gotta talk to the parent / boss, and then the situation will be over.
Okay.
I think it's
Theoretically.
pretty simple. Theoretically.
It's all theoretical.
If
It's all
not,
theoretical,
if
yeah.
not, that's a sequel to this. You talk to them and if they say, "Hey, you gotta deal with it," then I say you go with the sour apple. That's a good one.
Sour apple.
They'll eat and then they'll be like, "Oh man, that was on Taylor's pants," and you might have to wash them, but
Yeah,
it'll
maybe
be worth it.
rub some raw chicken on your leg or something.
No, because he'll get attacked by dogs.
Salmonella or
Yeah,
poison.
mine is safe. Don't rub raw chicken on your leg. And inside your leg, on your pant leg. Raw chicken, you're just gonna have blood all over your pant leg.
Well, that was my one rant. I thought you guys might have had similar experiences. I guess not.
No,
not with kids. There's been kids that throw tantrum, but I usually just walk away. The only thing I've gotten is customers, and I have customers enough rope back in the day when I was doing retail, but eventually if they were assholes, I'd be assholes right back. Because at that point I don't care. Because if they're rude, I'm just gonna be rude. So that's
So if they were rude to you, what is your definition? How would you be rude back to them?
just be very the way they are, very short, short sentences, stuff like that, very direct in a mean way, very just talking down to me like I'm a child. I'll talk to them right back, easily. I had no problem doing that because they can't call you on it, and it would be what would it be oh well, there's many times where let's say I used to sell TVs and they're looking at TVs and they're just rude and they're being rude and they'll be because this is the classic thing that people would do. And this is fine if you do this and you're nice, it's great. But if you're a jerk, it really sucks. So what happens is, with TVs, you would sell them, obviously. And the main thing was you want to sell, warranties and whatnot and everything like that. I wasn't that big into it. I eventually started working in the warehouse just because that's a different manner of people. It's very slimy, very shady. Some of the warranties, so look out for that. They do work, but just the way they kind of get you. But anyway, so there's this 5-step process you would go through with the person, and it's all these questions asking what do you want in TV, blah blah blah. So you do that there, but if you get the rude person, that's where it sucks because they talk down to you and blah blah blah. And then most of the times, what would happen is they talk about this and talk about this, and then they would settle on what was called where I worked. At the time, it was Best Buy, had Dynex TV. And the Dynex TV they're good TVs. I have Dynex TV, but they're lower class because they're a bunch of different parts put together from different companies so they can charge lower. So they're still good TVs. I get them. I say they're good bedroom TVs. And they're good for that. And then, so most of the time people would look at all these big, very expensive TVs and they're just I think I'm going to go with the Dynex. And and if they're nice, go, okay, cool, let's go bring it up. If they're rude and they're doing the whole thing, I'm oh, okay. And they're it's a good TV. I would just drop them with it's all right. Because then they feel like they're not so superior. And the truth is, I'm not rich enough to go get it. I have one very nice TV, my main TV in my living room. I got with some of my graduation money. Rest of my TVs in 2 rooms are Dynexes because they're small TVs. I don't need nice ones. But and I'm not rich enough to go get a super nice one right now. If my TV were to break, I wouldn't go get a huge nice one. I'd probably get something a bit cheaper, somewhere in the middle. But for them, if they've been rude, I'm going to make them feel bad about purchasing this TV that's, like, less than superior. If it's a nice person, oh, great choice, let's bring you up. But if not, I just wrote it in. They don't know that I don't have money or have enough to buy a TV. They're like, yeah, I guess that's what you want to do. And then, yeah, same thing. I'm like, yeah, like, I usually put these TVs in, like, a bedroom, why not? But they're fine. That's what I always say. You never say they're bad. Because one person did say that the next TV was bad and they got fired. Because that's the Best Buy brand. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh, well, maybe they didn't get fired, but they got a written warning. And then that person was eventually fired just because they're a bad employee as well. And you don't say that, truthfully. I would never say, oh, this is bad TV. But you go, yeah, it's fine. And then right away, that person's bad. So, like, little stuff like that. Little, like, ninja hooks. And the one story I'll tell... Ninja
hooks. I like it.
Yeah, in the brain. The one story I'll tell of, like, how I called the customer an asshole. I'm not sure if I've told you guys. I'm sorry. But I haven't told the cast. So, one day, first month, on the phone, or maybe 3 months in, I'm new... The training that you got for Best Buy, and at most retailers, I'm not just saying like Best Buy, but they don't train you to really be a salesperson. Like, I got the job being like, I like video games right out of graduation. They're like, great. And they're like, so I get the job, and like they're just like, you're a home entertainment specialist. And it's like, I don't even know what that means, but great. So this is when we had a store opening at Best Buy, and it was just opening up. So everybody was new, everyone was fresh. So I'm like, I like video games, and I got hired. So I was like, okay, I must be working in video games. Like, I was always like, oh, I could do that. Just talk about video games, like what we do now, and point, and come this way, come that way. So I'm like, I can do that. So the whole time I'm just like, oh, I work in the video game department. They're like, that's not a department. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, you're the home entertainment specialist department. So the whole week I was like, I don't know what I am. So I didn't know that. And then eventually they're just like, you're selling TVs. And I'm like, okay. So like the first month was brutal because they tell you not only do you have to sell TV, like I said, back to the warranty, they give you all these sheets and whatnot. Like if you shop there, you've seen them all of like all these steps you got to do and ask like what type of TV you have, what you're looking for, and all this stuff so you could like plant the seeds. That was a big thing for the warranty and stuff like that. So 3 months, I'm still rookie. This wouldn't happen later on. But I get this guy who, at Best Buy, they have geek services. And, like, they do things with install TV. But great service. I have many friends still work Best Buy. I'm not crapping on the company, just crapping on the situation that I did. So this guy phoned completely rude. Just, just asked me if I could do this, I do that. And anytime, like, oh, I don't know, I need to ask. Like, well, why don't you know? It's like, okay, true, maybe I should know, but it's like, it's not my fault the company hired me and I don't know a shit about any of these programs. It's like, blame this on him. Like, the training was awful. So, end of the day, this phone call went on 20 to 30 minutes. It's terrible, blah, 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 and he wants all this stuff done. Stuff that he wants. Like, it's a classic customer, like, I want you to do this, but it has to be this cheap. And I'm like, no, these are the prices. He's like, well, no, this has to be it, and you gotta follow up. So, I'm like, okay, I'll call. So, what happened was, and this is one of my good friends, I won't name drop him, but he's a good friend now, but I didn't have his number at the time. He ran the Geek thing. So I got his number, and I wrote down the guy's phone that I'm like, okay, I'll call you back. I wrote down his number. So I go to phone the employee A, I'll call him, employee Geek. I go to call him, and I'm like, okay, this is employee Geek, this is what the guy wants. And it's all sources of the price, blah, 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 and I was the whole time like, he's been very rude, blah, blah, blah. And and I started this call like, hey, it's Travis, and then that's what I forgot to mention. I said, hey, it's Travis, is this employee A? And the employee goes, oh yeah, this is employee A, and says the name. And so all things say the guy's been kind of rude, and then I end it with the classic sentence that was classic for my Best Buy friends was, so this is what the asshole wants. So I say this, and it's like quiet, dead air for 30 seconds.
Oh no.
And I'm like, hello? And then the person on the other end's like, hello? And I'm like, who, like, I'm like, is this Peter? And then the person goes, no, this is the asshole. So what I had done was accidentally called the customer back, because I had the two numbers side by side, called the customers back and explained this whole situation.
Oh, no.
And like, literally, same thing. My heart sunk. I was red in the face. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm just standing there. And like I said, 3, maybe 2 months in, and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, there's no way. And I'm just like, man, like, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from, like, calling a customer an asshole? Like,
you even had your name. You said your name, too.
No, not, I did, but then he forgot it, because after he asks, well, who am I talking to? And then I said, I'm a Best Buy employee. And then he's like, no, what's your name? And I'm like, well, my name's Travis. I had to give it up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hang up because that looked even worse. So he gets through all this, and he's just like, oh, blah, blah, and just reading the stuff out, blah, 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 and just stuff like that. And he's just like, how dare you say that? I'm just like, well, you're kind of being rude. Because at that point, I was just like, I got to roll with it. Like, there's no, like, in and out. So I'm like, you're kind of being rude. And then he's like, I'm going to come down to the store, like, in an hour. And we're, like, you're going to be in big trouble. So I hang up. And I'm like, great. And that was the thing that why I went back and told the beginning part of the story is because he lied and said his name was Peter. So he set me up. The customer, that's why I hate customers like that. He's just a rude guy that wanted to ruin someone's day. His name was not Peter. So it was like, he just wanted to mess with me as a new employee. So I put down the phone, I go to my manager, and I'm like, at that point, it's like, you got two options. You can either risk it and hope he doesn't come in, and then you're good, you're golden. Situation's gone. Or you can, like, confess and hope for the best, because if he does come in and you didn't confess, you look really bad. So I just like, you know what, this is the only step I have. And thankfully I was living at home still with my mother, so I was like, if I get fired, this is it, because I thought this was it. How do you call someone an asshole? And this was my first job. The only other job I had was landscaping, and that's where everyone swears and you're just moving stuff, so it doesn't matter. You'd call someone an asshole and they'd just be like, oh, whatever, screw you. Like, it's all like busting balls. But here, I'm like, I call a customer an asshole, and it's like, how do I come back from this? I tell them, I get ridden up, and that's it. The guy never comes in. 2 years later, this guy comes in, remembering my name, pulls the manager aside, and just like, the last time I talked to the store, I dealt with some guy named Travis. He called me an asshole, blah, blah, blah. All this. And then, I don't think he said bitch, but the manager was like, hey, I need to know what's going on. Because she was a new manager. Didn't know the situation all 2 years later. And then I think he said something like, you were acting bitchy. So then the manager turned on him of like, no, you're not getting any sympathy about this like bad employee. So then like it turned like his whole plan backfired. But then like I had the conversation, I'm like, I can't believe like we didn't even talk, and I wasn't in trouble, anything like that. And then people saw, the people that were still there at the time, they're like, oh, I can see why. Like, I got almost like, I was happy came in because I almost got a stamp of approval of like, oh, I see why this happened. Because, and there was that, and then everyone also was like, why 2 years later? Like, was he just festering on it for 2 years, being like, ugh,
he was brewing a plan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you can just see, you're listening to Rant, Rave, Repeat episode, and we lost a little bit. So we're making it up for, you remember, we were recording that episode last week. We checked, oh my god, the ending. So we're making it up. It's the same crew. Dylan, Travis, myself, and Taylor. And to give you that sweet, sweet nectar, Taylor's going to tell us a story that we have no idea what it is. So
I'm raving.
Oh,
that's raving. A good thing, right?
That's good, because that episode had no rants. Yeah. Okay. It ended with us ranting about retail or something. I don't know. I can't remember. There's so much podcasts, folks. So take us away. We don't even know what the story is, folks.
Well, I'm raving about significant others, particularly girlfriends. How amazing they can be at times in need. So
times.
Okay. Yeah. Be careful.
At times in need. Yeah, you could be saying. Well, you could be talking about a number of things right now.
So the story begins. Me and my girlfriend were at the mall, and we were getting
one fateful day.
We're getting a gift for a friend. It's a friend's birthday. We're getting a special gift, and we went to Spencer's to acquire this gift.
Oh,
and
okay.
For our friend.
Spencer's
special gift.
They have special kind of gifts. Yeah,
they have very special.
Yeah, where's this going?
Nowhere bad, I promise. So we leave Spencer's, and she's got it in the bag because the guy recommended we put this in a bag, not to walk around the mall holding it in her hand. So
what was the gift?
I will reveal that in
a
little bit. So we're walking around, and the mall had this huge sale. All the stores had their tables out and tons of clearance sales and stuff. We get TB Games because I want to go check it out, and they had a table set up, and they had tons of awesome deals. And on the table there was a box that said "Make me smile" for this free stuff, and inside was an Assassin's Creed newspaper article. And I look at him like, this is awesome. My girlfriend asked the EB Games guy, how do we get this? And he's like, you just have to make me smile. And I'm like, I don't know any jokes off the top of my head. And my girlfriend's like, oh, I don't know any jokes either. So I walk around the table looking around thinking, oh, well, shit, I don't get this Assassin's Creed memorabilia. And my girlfriend's like, well, I don't know any jokes, but I can make you a penis cake, and pulls out a penis cake tin in front of the guy. And the guy loses his cool. He's laughing his head off. And my girlfriend played it off so cool, and she puts it back in, and she's like, so I can take this then? And he's like, oh yeah, you can take that. And she gives it to me, and I feel so happy I have this awesome Assassin's Creed memorabilia. And then my girlfriend again is like, you sure you don't want one? I could make you one. I have two cake tins in here. And he's like, no, I'm sure. And then we continue on our day. And I have my awesome Assassin's Creed thing. I'm going to frame it because it is such a badass newspaper article. And I am just... So yeah, that's my rave. How girlfriends will go above and beyond at times for when you need
Moral
that
of the
certain
story
thing.
is always have a penis cake with you, I guess.
In any
You never know.
situation.
You never know when you'll need it. Right?
Man, can I see
Exactly.
your passport? No, but you got Well, there you go, folks. Was there anything else to add there?
No, that was everything.
Okay, well, there you go, folks. You got an exclusive Taylor tidbit story. As usual, you can find Rant and Repeat and all the other Geek episodes, spin-offs at GeekVerse Podcast, whether it's Twitter, Facebook. Just search us in Google. We're there. You know us, you love us. Until next time, I promise it won't be boring.
Adios.
Adios. Adios, muchachos.
Muchachos.
There you go.
That was a good idea.